Drake just told us Iceman drops May 15th. He hid the date inside a 25-foot ice sculpture in downtown Toronto. Fans showed up with blow torches to crack it open. That actually happened. Google just gave everybody the ability to make a song from a text message. We need to talk about what that means. Tyler, the creator, has been making movies and stepping into the acting world a little bit more. The rapper to actor pipeline is more real than it's ever been. Vince Staples looked at the state of the world and said, "As the world burns, I've decided to release this album, June 5th. Mark it. Odeal is coming to Chicago May 29th, United Center. You should probably be there." And number one, we're talking about Chicago, our city, the talent, the legacy, and the cost the city charges the artists who dare to celebrate inside it. I'm Doubl R. This is 606 and Go. Top 6. Let's get it. Unironically, at number 6, May 15th, that's when Iceman dropped. Drake's 9th studio album, first full solo project since For All the Dogs in 2023. And the rollout, I'm giving it credit where it's due. It has been one of the creative album campaigns we've seen in quite a while. He installed a 25-foot ice sculpture in downtown Toronto, told the world the release date was hidden somewhere inside of it. Fans showed up with pickaxes, blow torches, hammers. Toronto police had shut it down. But then a Twitch streamer by the name of Kishka eventually had used a drone and located the bag, was able to climb back inside, obtain the bag, and live stream the whole thing. And then Drake's team handed him about close to $100K around the front door of the embassy. Now, I kind of say that's like a movie almost. Whatever you think about Drake right now, that's a full movie. Confirmed singles that lead up to this album, we had What Did I Miss? Which One with Central C, Doghouse with Yeet, and Julia Wolf. And What Did I Miss? That title is doing a lot of work. Because here's the real question nobody wants to answer directly. How does one of the biggest rappers in the world come back after a beef? A beef that made the whole culture pick a side publicly. The rollout says, "I don't plan on talking about it." Remind them why they love you. Make the campaign bigger than the music so by the time the music lands, you've already won the attention war. Whether the album lives up to it, we'll find out May 15th. But the rollout already passed. At number 5, Google's Gemini app can now make music. You type a description, any description, and it generates a 30-second track with vocals, lyrics, instrumentation, and a cover art. The model is called Lyria 3. It's available right now to anyone 18 and over. Free tier, no experience required. And I want to be real with you about how I feel about this, because I make beats. I write songs. This is personal. On one hand, this is the most democratizing thing that has ever happened to music creation. A kid in Inglewood with no studio budget, no engineer, no label, can now generate a professional sounding track from his phone while sitting on the porch. That part is real. That part matters. On the other hand, Google was clear. It won't copy a specific artist's style directly. It uses artist's name as inspiration, not replication. But what happens to the independent producer who spent 10 years building a sound that AI can now approximate in 30 seconds? What happens to the session musician, the mix engineer, the artist who built their whole brand on a unique fingerprint sound? Bandcamp already banned AI music entirely. Deezer built tools to detect and flag it. Meanwhile, YouTube and Spotify are signing licensing deals to monetize it. The culture is not one thing on this. In hip-hop, which has always been the genre that samples, flips, and remixes, is going to have the most complicated relationship with AI music of any genre out there. Because we built a whole art form out of taking something and making it new. The question is, when the machine starts doing that, what's left that's ours? Number 4, Tyler the Creator just had his biggest film moment. Marty Supreme, A24, Josh Safdie directing, Timothée Chalamet starring, grossed $192 million worldwide. One of the highest rating films of 2025. 9 Oscar nominations. And Tyler, credited as Tyler Okonama, played Wally, Marty's loyal friend, his day one, the taxi driver who rides with him through everything. First major film role, and he didn't just show up. He held his own in a cast that includes Gwyneth Paltrow, Fran Drescher, and Abel Ferrara. That's not a cameo, that's acting. A$AP Rocky starred opposite Denzel Washington and Spike Lee's Highest to Lowest and walked away with serious award buzz. And if you go back further, you have the likes of Ice Cube, Queen Latifah, Will Smith blurring the lines so completely that 2 generations of people forgot he started as a rapper. Here's what I want to say to every artist watching this show. The rapper to actor pipeline isn't a side hustle anymore. It's a full creative ecosystem. Tyler made Chromacopia, performed at the Oscars, and appeared in the A24 film, all in the same cycle. The artists who move in multiple lanes aren't spreading themselves thin, they're building something that can't be taken from them by one bad album rollout, one beef, one industry shift. And that's kind of the blueprint right now. 606 and Go sees it, and I want the artists watching to see it too. At number 3, Vince Staples has a new album. It's called Crybaby. It drops June 5th on Luma Vista Recordings. His first project since Dark Times in 2024, his last release on Def Jam. And his statement about the album is the most Vince Staples thing Vince Staples has ever said. He said, "As the world burns, I've decided to release this album." That's it. That's the whole press release. The lead single is called Blackberry Marmalade. YouTube age restricted the video. Vince responded by posting, and I'm quoting, "YouTube has age restricted the Blackberry Marmalade video. So if you're over the age of 18, make sure you share it with the youth around you. Our children deserve the truth." Nobody writes a statement like Vince Staples. Nobody. Here's what makes Crybaby significant beyond the single. Every track is built around live instrumentation, no sample beats. This is a major sonic shift for Vince. The album is described as him processing what he calls the endlessly repeating cycles of American upheaval. And after Dark Times, which turned an introspective lens on the home itself, this one looks outward, at the country, at the cycle, at all of it. 10 tracks, June 5th, right after my birthday. But Vince Staples has never made a bad album, in my opinion, honestly. He has also never made the same album twice. Crybaby is already one of my most anticipated projects of 2026, and it should be on your radar too. At number 2, and before I get into it, I need you to know something. Odeal is coming to Chicago, May 29th, United Center. Summer Walker's still finally over the tour. I'm telling you that first because by the time this episode is done, you probably want to get tickets and get ready. Odeal, a British Nigerian artist, London-based, Billboard Rookie of the Year 2025. His sound pulls from R&B, Afrobeats, Nigerian alt movement, and somehow puts all 3 in the same room without it feeling crowded. Apple Music described him as creating relentlessly original R&B. If you're new to him, start with You're Stuck featuring Summer Walker. Then go to Miami featuring Leon Thomas. Those 2 records alone will tell you everything you need to know about what he's capable of. I'll be transparent with you. The first comparison people reach when they hear Odeal is Brent Faiyaz. The tone, the vulnerability, the intimacy of the production. And that comparison isn't wrong, but it's also not the whole story. Because Odeal brings diaspora energy that Faiyaz doesn't have. The Afrobeats influence underneath the R&B. That's his thing. And it's going to separate him as his catalog grows. Right now he's sitting at about 4.1 million Spotify listeners. No Chicago date on his headlining tour, but he is hoping it for Summer Walker. Right here at the United Center on May 29th. That's your entry point. That's your I was there before the moment right there. Start with You're Stuck, then come back and tell me I was wrong. Odeal. Odeal. Remember where you heard it. At number 1, and this one is mine. I'm from Chicago, Inglewood. I grew up in the Auburn Gresham area as well, South Side for the most part. And I need to talk about what's happening in the city's rap scene right now, because nobody else is going to say it the way I want it said. Let me give you the full picture. 20 years ago, Lupe Fiasco dropped Food and Liquor, an album that told the world Chicago rap wasn't just drill, wasn't just one thing. There was a kid from the West Side who could wrap circles around everybody in the country and talked about skateboards and politics in the same breath. And right now he's on the Food and Liquor's 20th anniversary tour. Chicago date, June 12th at the Salt Shed. 20 years later, and that album still holds what legacy sounds like. And while Kanye was doing his thing, the drill wave came through. Chief Keef, G Herbo, Lil Durk, King Louie, Katie got bands. Chicago didn't just create drill, it exported it to the entire world. You have UK drill, Brooklyn drill. Every city that picked up the sound and made it their own started here. Started on the south side, started in the same neighborhoods we grew up in. Fast forward to today, Chief Keef is headlining Summer Smash this June. G Herbo is also on the bill as well. These men built the movement, headlining their own city's festival. That means something. But here's the part I actually need to talk about. July 2nd, 2025, River North. Mello Buckzz, 24 years old, Eastside Chicago. Drill rapper, Coachella veteran, Pitchfork cosign, 9 million views on YouTube. Was hosting her album release party, Hollywood. 3 years of work, her first real body of art. And outside Artist Lounge, a dark colored SUV drove past and opened fire into the crowd. 4 people were fatally injured, 14 wounded, her boyfriend, her best friend, gone. She held his hand until she couldn't anymore. And as of today, nobody has been arrested. No suspects in custody, and the shooter is still out there. She wrote, and I want you to hear these words. What was supposed to be a joyful and peaceful night ended in heartbreak. These weren't strangers. These were people I love. Friends, family, creatives, significant others, people who've been with me through this entire journey. What happened was senseless. There's no reason that a group of innocent people, mostly women, should have never been targeted that way. I'm going to say something that's difficult and true. Chicago has always charged a higher price for the joy of celebrating art than any other city in this country. And that's not the artist's fault. It's not the coach's fault. The talent in this city has never been in question. Take Baby Chief Do It, for example. 17 years old, Southside, Doubl XL freshman 2025. Had Chance the Rapper call him to put him on Starline. Went west on the Billboard Hot 100. He said something in an interview that stuck with me. I learned there was a real Chicago music scene before drill. That was kinda eye-opening. That's a 17-year-old from the South Side digging into the likes of Lupe Fiasco, Common, Twista, Ye, because he wants to understand what made the city great. And artists like Little Moo, a rising female rapper from Inglewood, my neighborhood, who launched her career October 2024, is already building her own lane in the city. That's the next wave. That's what Chicago looks like when it's allowed to just be itself. Here's my take in all of it. Chicago's rap scene in 2026 is in one of the most creatively rich moments in history. Legacy artists proving they were built to last, new voices rewriting what drill can be. Women like Mello Buckzz and Lil Moo demanding their place in the conversation. But this city has never made it easy to build something beautiful inside it. And until the suspects who murdered 4 people at a woman's album release party are held accountable, that remains the most important unfinished story in Chicago rap. Not a streaming number, not a chart position, 4 people, still no arrest. 606 and Go is from here. We're not going to let that disappear into the news cycle. The city deserves better, its artist deserves better, and the family of those 4 people deserve justice. And that's the top 6 at 606 for the week of May 2nd, 2026. Drake's Iceman rollout, the album drops May 15th, and the campaign is already making gains. Gemini making music from a text message, and what that means for every artist watching this show. Tyler the Creator proving the pipeline is real. The rapper to actor era is not a trend anymore. Vince Staples, As the World Burns, I've decided to release this album June 5th. Odeal, coming to Chicago May 29th. Start When You're Stuck, and then Chicago, The Blueprint, The Next Wave, and 4 people who still haven't gotten justice for a night that was supposed to be a celebration. Every Friday, 6:06 a.m., 6 stories, no fillers, just the culture. I'm Doubl R. This is 606 and Go. I'll see you next Friday.